Hi guys. Today we got this wonderful being with us, Alexandra Harper. I met her in Liverpool almost 2 years before, and since then we aligned in maybe same frequency. I say that immediately we became friends and we exchanged a lot of points in common. And today she's there to spend some time with us, and she's going to to just converse about what she is doing and going to tell about in terms of what she has knowledge in terms of spirituality, meditation, uh, and actually she runs a company called Well-being and Performance, and what she does there is literally she helps people to find what they are best at by helping them mentally and more in terms of psychologically as well. So lots and lots of things to listen from Alex, and I'm going to give her the mic now, and it's all your stage, Alex. So yeah, you also give us some short intro of yourself, so that it will be more beautiful when it comes from your own mouth, and then we can start to discuss.
Lovely. Oh, thank you so much for having me, firstly. I love your videos. And yeah, like you say, we definitely met on a very similar frequency. So it's good to be here. So who am I? Yeah, what do I do? I mean, one of the reasons we definitely connected was this whole thread of psychology. So I've been doing that ever since college and uni. And it's been quite a journey. So maybe we'll explore different things that have come up throughout. But I suppose where I am right now is definitely very in touch with the spiritual side of things, like people finding that place of peace and calm, and me finding that for myself as well. And yeah, that whole spiritual side of going within, finding alignment, and being your best self as a result. So, what I do at the moment, yeah, with wellbeing performance is helping people just perform at their best, basically, by feeling their best, because ultimately that's the best way to get there. Um, yeah. So maybe we'll delve into some more as we go, but that's me in a nutshell.
That's amazing. So nice to hear. Um, so you said like you are becoming more aligned in terms of the self. You know, so what exactly it is like when you say self? How to align with? How have you found it? Um, it would be nice if you tell us what made you to, found out that alignment.
Mm. Yeah, so I think we naturally do it from the get-go. Like when I first ever got into psychology, I think trying to discover things about myself, which psychology answered. Um, and so that was the beginning of the alignment. But then through the journey, I've learned so much. There's been so much change. Like I definitely learned in the early days about like my own anxiety and things like that, and was able to pretty much solve that through the whole process of luckily working in the field and being able to apply it to myself. And then, I mean, I think that's the core, like tuning into your feelings definitely allows you to begin that process more fully. Um, and then, yeah, I think it's all about, yeah, my mind just keeps coming back to feeling. So you live life, you go out and explore, don't you? And you get those, you resonate with things and you start to realize what brings you joy and where you feel most comfortable and who you resonate with. Like, definitely, people have been a huge part of my journey. And yeah, and coming all the way to where we are now, I used to work in mental health, and that was very much more focused on, I suppose, like a very scientific model, which I loved at the time. It was very useful. But now I work in a much more intuitive way, a holistic way, helping people to really tune in deeply to who they are and what's affecting them and what's coming up in their life in a holistic way that's impacting maybe just one core goal that they're trying to reach and they're struggling with. And I think that was probably similar for me as well. Like I've always had, I suppose, particular goals of how I want to feel and be. And the journey of how to get there was very unexpected. Like I've taken some twists and turns, doing the different parts of psychology, like mental health. And now I'm in sport psychology, and I'm much more of a physically active person. So that aligns a lot with who I am, for example. So yeah, I suppose that touches on a few of the things that helps us get there.
Amazing. The way how you express itself, it shows like how, how efficiently you are with yourself, connected with yourself.
Mm,
Only when the person is, when she or he is connected with his herself,
mm,
they are in a position to help the others to find them who they are, to find themselves, isn't it? And I could literally see that with the way how you were expressed. Could literally see, um, through the feelings you actually, trying to be connected with yourself. If I'm not wrong. So that's
mm,
what I think most of us are lacking in today's world. We literally going by we are trying to understanding things more logically most of the
mm,
times, whereas we lack in this quality of feel the things instead of trying to logically interpret. We have to feel. I think only then, in my perspective, as what you said as well, then we not try to misinterpret the thing. We will understand the things holistically with
mm.
all the entire approach, isn't it?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
That massively takes me back. Like a memory keeps coming to me as you're talking about that. And when I
Mhm.
first ever tried mindfulness, it's like a training course for my work. And there was a really vivid moment where the mind, so mindfulness allows you to like see your thinking in a way that I never had before. And there's this moment where I like could see the next step ahead of me, but with so much more awareness of what was in my head. And I think that was the first time I realized that our heads get in the way of everything if they're too powerful. And I think, yeah, maybe in our culture, we're encouraged or kind of led to focus a lot more on the thinking and less on the feeling. But when you start to realize you can take a step back and step within before you think, then yeah, it brings so much clarity. Mm.
Wow, exactly, exactly. When it seems like our mind is made up of thoughts,
Mm.
and apparently these thoughts are not as these thoughts are there everywhere, and
Mm.
we have to make clear point by understanding the self of us and selecting is this really is my thought or not. If I'm
Yeah.
not wrong, correct me. And I think those things we can understand only based on our real intuitive feeling, as you said.
Mm.
And
Mm.
how it happened to you? I know you said like when you started your studies in psychology, more when you were facing this anxiety and stuff, you were trying to understand. But at one point, the way how you are now, more focused, clear in your mind, I could
Mm.
feel that you handle your mind, you handle your mental, emotions. And what was the point? Uh, is there like any point that you could say, okay, this is kind of a turning point for me. Oh, I practiced this, so it happened. I want
Yeah.
to be more aligned with myself, want to be more intuitive. I want to be more in terms of feeling based rather than logically analyzed. So what are all the tools?
Mm. So I think the first thing that came to my mind when you said that was when I was like learning about emotions. And logically, I knew all about emotions. We all know what they are, don't we? But then I was learning like about the actual experience of it and that it's telling us things, like anger tells you there's been an injustice. And they've all got their own purpose. And I realized I thought my feelings, but I didn't feel my feelings. And it just struck me. I was like, wait, I'm now realizing we're supposed to be feeling them on certain levels, and I'm suppressing my feelings. And it was like this weird aha moment. And somehow at some point that had become a function for me. So then I started to really tune into my feelings. And then, of course, later down the line, the mindfulness course came in, and I did that really intensely. And I think that allowed me to go more introspective. And after that, I started to do meditations, and I got into the chakra meditations and learning all about. And I had a friend who was a yoga teacher, so all like just came together beautifully. And I started to just really tune in to my body, where I felt my feelings. I've had my own counselors and therapists over the years who've been amazing as well to help tune in. And like, then you have to, of course, regulate once you're tuning in. And then I suppose working out which of the emotions are not your truest self. So definitely our thoughts create emotions. And sometimes those thoughts are like defense mechanisms. So they might say, no, don't do that out of fear. But it's not because it's keeping you safe, it's because it's scared of the unknown, maybe. Um, and then I think, yeah, when you start analyzing your thoughts, you realize it's almost like little pathways, little garden paths here, there, and everywhere. And more aware you become of your thinking, and literally just even if you're just observing where it goes without even controlling it, you can start to like see the thoughts coming and recognize where that will lead. And then, yeah, you've just got a choice. And you can be like, no, no, not that thought today, thanks. And you just start to be able to, yeah, tune in more fully and be more at peace, I guess, because yeah, you're managing things, managing your mind.
That's really interesting. So that's what all are looking for, I think, see how efficiently you started handle yourself, you are managing yourself. And it's really curious, Alex, to be honest. You went into a chakra meditation, and then you went to analyze your thoughts, the patterns. um, so you said like thoughts can uh, change our feelings. Thoughts can affect our feelings, and by by getting separated between us and the thoughts, we can handle our feelings. We can handle our emotions.
Mm.
That's really interesting, isn't it? So we need to really understand here who exactly we are, and what we are made up of, and what where we are up to, where we are currently, and what exactly I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, now you're saying that, I'm wondering, this might be the same for you as well, but if I think back now to when I first started the journey, if I said
Mhm.
to myself, oh, you can choose your thoughts or you can do this, that, the other, I don't know if I would fully comprehend. Like, I think you have to, there's obviously certain steps you take where it makes more and more sense. Um, Another thing that came up when you were saying that, of course, was yoga. It's another amazing way to, yeah, tune into everything.
Mhm.
Mm,
So yeah, so basically, being humans, we can live our own life, isn't it? Like instead of letting the life to happen, I think we can make the life to happen in a way how we want it to be.
we can, yeah. And there's that part when you were describing what you were just before about the separation. There's that, I think you've said you've had this in meditation where you realize you've got the observer and then you've got the thoughts. And that's how you can kind of really have more of the reins on what you choose to happen. Yeah. And how you
So
choose.
true, so true, so true. Yeah, that's what it's been almost like 4 years. I've been into this meditation journey, and I observed a lot of difference from how I used to be and how I am now. Lots and lots of things started changing. Especially when we start doing meditation, I think personally, all the things that we are not are going away, and what the
Mm,
real is staying back.
and like the inspiration and things come through that weren't there before. Yeah.
Yeah, and in that way, we make our own reality, and we understand every challenges or the opportunity to
Mm,
evolve and to grow. What,
yeah.
what do you think this term, Alex? When we say all the challenges that we face, being human beings, um, are they coming in order to disturb us? I don't think so. In universe, everything are happening randomly.
Mm,
Everything are aligned geometrically. Even if we see, our solar system, see how our Earth is moving around the sun. The sun is going somewhere very, at a rate, I don't know, the tremendous amount of speed, and the moon is revolving around and around this moon and around this Earth. So
mhm,
there is a geometry, there is an alignment, and we are there. If we
mm,
are there in this meticulous way of designed universe, I think we are also aligned, naturally aligned. And we are
mm,
not,
yeah.
maybe we are unconscious of that.
Yeah. I've got so many different thoughts coming off that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing about the alignment is a bit like, I really like the analogy when people say, let's say like, okay, we're like, almost like flowers. So when a plant first grows from a seed to a small plant and then to a blossoming plant, halfway through the journey, it's not thinking I should be blossoming already kind of thing. But sometimes that's what we do to ourselves, I think. And then, yeah, I mean, I'm undecided yet about the predictability of things in terms of whether it's, I guess it's two parts, isn't there? There's the scientifically, yes, it's probably predictable because certain forces are occurring and certain things are inevitable. But then I think our experience of that inevitability is dictated by our perspective. So, like, everything can be a lesson, but everything can be discomfort and unpleasant. And it's absolutely, yeah, I think depends on which angle we look at it from. Like if you see so many times people have really horrendous life experiences and then they find a way to make that something powerful for others, to uplift others. And we can do that just internally as well, uplift ourselves by taking perspective.
Understood, understood. And I think the way you said, like, even the challenges are there, when during the unpleasant situation, discomfort situation, if we are able to keep separate us from those unpleasant situations rather than getting affected by those situations, I think we can overcome that, and we can just maybe change to another situation.
Mhm.
um
Yeah.
yeah,
And maybe sometimes bad situations, they are bad, and that doesn't change necessarily that something bad was there too, but sometimes they directly lead to something amazing, somebody amazing, or yeah, just amazing place. Mm. Yeah, I'm wondering what happened in our lives to make us meet. COVID and we met. So you got into meditation. So yeah, stories like that. Yeah.
exactly. If the COVID, you know what, if the COVID was not there, I would have never meditated. I would have
Mhm.
never put the questions of understanding who I am and what I am up to. And okay, I had some time, and then I said, okay, let me start to meditate. And then at one point of the day, I started becoming more conscious of who I am and what exactly me. And as I said, the things that are not me are started disappearing from me. And I used to be a non-vegetarian person myself, and then I became a vegan. And I met you in this mindfulness and like-minded group, and where I met you. If at all, if not, I would have been meeting some different people, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything happens for a reason, and I'm very much happy now being surrounded by and by a beautiful person like you. And and what I wanted to ask is, whenever you help someone, what
Mm.
you how do you feel?
How do I feel?
Because
Mm,
your entire job is of helping others, isn't it? To
yeah,
find what they are best at, to 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 bring them if they are mentally, facing some challenges.
yeah.
Uh,
That's an interesting question. Yeah. And I suppose it is quite a somewhat of a dance, like a happy dance
mm,
between the mind and feelings. Like obviously our mind can be a problem sometimes, but if you're helping people and you're really so basically I go in almost emotionally as a blank canvas. So I feel what I would feel in that person's position. So that's often what I'm feeling. But then my mind is always conscious that the goal is well-being and to for them to be at their best. So it's okay. So this is what they're feeling. I feel that. And how do we get from this feeling to a more helpful feeling? So I suppose I have moments of inspiration where I might feel inspired and I suppose excited. I mean, I'm going to feel excited when they're talking about their dreams, and then we'll go on a roller coaster when we go through what's in their way and things. But oh, I feel everything. Very connected, very, very, very in the moment. Nothing else matters apart from their inner world and like what we're trying to achieve. Um, yeah, and then any emotions that help me steer them in the direction they want to go in as well. If they're there to be steered, some are not. But yeah, yeah.
wow, wow! Literally, it is like eye-opening. When you
Mm,
said like your mind will be sort of like empty uh, canvas, and you will feel how you were or how to say the person that you are helping would feel.
yeah. As much as
And
I can, I guess, through what they've described. Yeah.
is it what you say? Like you will feel whatever the person is undergoing.
Mm. Mm. Based on
And
what they're comfortable to share. I mean, sometimes I think certainly when, like, if somebody walks into a room, sometimes they light up the room, sometimes the energy might change, shift in more of a maybe a, I don't want to say negative because everything has its purpose. But yeah, the emotion in the room can change depending on a person. So I think there is the ability just to feel because they're feeling, but also their words will absolutely paint a picture which evokes a lot of feeling as well. Yeah.
understood, understood. And yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the this can't be, this could be the best ever job that we could do, I would imagine, because we're literally helping others to overcome what they are undergoing in terms of discomfortness or unpleasantness. And when we help others, we are helping ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess helping everyone. Yeah. They'll be an
Yeah,
inspiration to others. We learn so much. We feel good for helping. Yeah.
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 This point I understood recently. Whatever you give, you get more of whatever you gave.
Mm. Yeah, it comes back.
Yeah, which means when you are going to make someone to find what they are best at, you are going to becoming more and more best version of yourself.
I guess so. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone's unique, so everyone has a slightly different path. But I suppose ultimately, yeah, the more we help others tune fully into themselves and learn about their struggles and how they can overcome those things, then yeah, you've got nothing to lose, really, I guess. Yeah, it's only learning. Yeah.
Wow, I'm in line with your whatever you were saying, because recently I also started learning something new called spiritual tablets. I don't know if you
Oh,
are.
I think you mentioned this. Yeah. Not in
Yeah,
lots of
didn't I?
depth, but yeah, I think I know what you
Yeah.
mean.
Well, this is like literally eye-opening. So, whatever in the life that you face, let it be hand pain, shoulder pain, wrist pain,
Mm.
or emotional imbalance, anything is happening because of lack of wisdom, spiritual wisdom.
Ah, yeah. Mhm.
once you understand that this pain or whatever you experience in this body is going to go out.
Yeah, this is ringing a bell now. I remember.
Yeah, they say it's spiritual intellect is the root and physical health is the fruit.
Yeah, I think because that ties into the concept of everything being a vibration, doesn't it? So nobody can really, I don't think anyone has been able to explain
Mm-hmm.
what this physical world is, and it can be explained via it's just a manifestation we see and we hear and all those things, but that's just a concept. So yeah, what we're seeing is potentially the physical form of our spirit, so it makes sense. But yeah,
Exactly.
you feel what's going wrong internally.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like, Alex, it seems like everything is energy.
Hmm. Yeah.
Is it? At the end of the end, if you focus it again and again, and then we are going to leave left out with what this atoms, these electrons which are moving around this nucleus around and around, and I'm questioning where these electrons are getting the energy to move like this, and
Mm.
apparently these
Ultimate
electrons,
question.
isn't it? And
Yeah.
I just googled some weeks before. It seems like these electrons are getting energy from something else called photons.
Just goes deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah, and then I'm asking where these photons are getting energy. Something else which is not yet discovered,
Mm.
and it's keep going,
Mm.
and everything is same. So whatever the things, whatever the raw materials that Alex is made up of, is what I'm
Mm.
also made up of,
Yeah.
and it's so beautiful how since even though we are made up of the same material, we are different.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
are different, and that's what the beauty of life.
Mm. Yeah. It's like the same things observing themselves in different forms. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we all
yeah.
have the same makeup. Yeah, that was in a, oh yeah, this is another, and again, something you're saying, triggering all these different thoughts. This reminds me of somebody I worked with
Hmm?
around the same time I was doing the mindfulness. And he was talking about like everything being vibration. And this was news to me. And I was like, what does he mean? And he's literally been one of the seeds to all of my journey into this whole thing. He was so wise. And and then this is also making me think of, that thought's gone. I'm sure it'll come back.
Ah,
But yeah, it is. What does this say? Oh, that was it. We all have the potential to be everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing, the inspiring, and it just depends what situation we're in. And in that same way, that's why we can achieve anything we really set our minds to within reason. Some people would say without limits. Yeah, because we're all made up of the same stuff. We can do anything.
wow, so true, so true. We can be nothing and we can be everything. It's up to us
Yeah,
to.
because I was going to say, because everyone's always redefining what we can do, aren't they? Like people are always pushing boundaries, always showing us new things that we're capable of. So yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
And when you said about mindfulness, when you were doing mindfulness with him, what it deals exactly with, like how mindfulness is a big subject, I would imagine.
It is, yeah.
What's mindfulness in your perspective?
Oh, yeah, good question. Well, when you ask me that, the first thing I see is my teacher. So I learned mindfulness in a Buddhist center.
Oh,
And oh, he was such a patient teacher. And I feel like, yeah, through him, I discovered that mindfulness is huge in terms of the way you can kind of practice it and explore it, and also the journey you go on. I think mindfulness is, I was going to say an endless journey, but then when you spoke about, going deeper and deeper, the neutrons and all those things, I think sometimes in meditation, we can get to that really core point where there's almost nothing left to find. And I suppose mindfulness might come to that same end. But I think mindfulness is, well, if we quote, I said, who is it? What is it to me? But John Kabat-Zinn said, what did he say? Paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So like that's the practice. But I think the experience is learning about your mind and your body and your relationship to your body with your mind, and eventually being able to mindfulness. I suppose just being able to understand yourself and also tune really deeply into that observing part of yourself and differentiate between your conditioning in the outside world and this part of you that seems potentially to be all yours, really deep down. Maybe that's the bit we all share, though. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's that journey of
It is.
self-exploration and about
Mm,
the world, but you can't go so deeply maybe into the external world.
mm.
Mm.
It's really mindfulling. Um, yeah, I relate this mindfulness with meditation. I think
Mm.
when you go to the East, they call the same mindfulness as meditation, and when you go to the West, it is mindfulness.
Yeah, because it was yeah, I was going to say taken from, inspired by the
Hmm.
East, wasn't it? Um, yeah, 'cause certainly the teachers over here, the ones that I've known, will say that mindfulness is not just meditation in the sense that people in the West understand meditation, i.e., sitting down in silence or doing something guided. Mindfulness can be just being in the present moment, and your thoughts are allowed to be there, but it's about being aware of them. But yeah, what is it? I suppose you might have more of an understanding with your experience of what it is. What is mindfulness described as in the East? Is it different?
Well, yeah, Alex, exactly what you said. It is what all about mindfulness is like. Whatever you do to its fullest, and self-exploration. All what you said. But, but when we say meditation,
Mm.
um, it's a tool to make you more mindful, I think.
Ah,
And
okay.
meditation, yeah, and meditation, the way when you sit and close your eyes and just observe your breath, that's
Mm.
a technique. There are different techniques of meditation, and this particular technique called anapanasati, which I practice. Here, you simply have to sit and have to observe your breath, and the way when you keep observing again and again, again and again, here comes the separation between your thoughts and the real self.
Mm.
So once you understood that you are no more these thoughts which are happening, but then you being the observer who is going to observe everything always and forever,
Mm.
then now you are going to do everything mindfully.
Yeah.
So you become meditation. First, you
Mm.
start off doing by sitting, practicing some basic techniques.
Mm.
Once you understood that you are the observer, you are the person who witnesses everything around you, and you want to become that awareness, then what happens is only the mindfulness will exist. You do one thing, you are best at what you do then. And
Mm.
you are aligned
Mm.
with your purpose of life, as you said. First, you understand your purpose of life, and then what was the second point you've been saying? Um,
Mm. You mean in terms of the feelings or in terms of the
it, well,
um,
when I asked about mindfulness, you took that sayings and going from first of all, mindfulness is about understanding, if I'm not wrong, the purpose of our existence or our life, and then yeah, etc., etc. So I would, I would say mindfulness is an effect of understanding the real self through meditation.
So it does lead to mindfulness. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because, yeah, that absolutely makes sense what you're describing. I think, yeah, a few years ago when I was first on the journey, I might have been confused, and now it resonates. Like when you are only mindful, you don't have extra thoughts, you're not skewed off your path, you just make decisions based on your core self and the feelings that are guiding you, maybe. And then, yeah, you just kind of observe and follow the journey from behind the eyes. Just let it all happen.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what I understood is in this journey, being human beings, we can't always be like that person who always observes, but
Yeah.
always disconnected. Of course, being a human being, you are supposed to entangle with plenty of thoughts around you. It is the physical realm, and we have to also experience these things. If
Yeah.
not in this, if not in this dimension, it's not going to be existing in the other dimensions. So
Mhm.
first, this understanding is what important. Understanding that we are spiritual beings, as you said, and being at that point, now we do all the physical aspects of things happily. This is
Mm.
what I would say.
Yeah, like at peace almost. Yeah, because people differentiate, don't they, between we have our emotions, but then at the core, when we're really, I guess, present, definitely when we're mindful, I think, or meditating, and we really manage to go deep, there's that feeling that comes that's just so, it's like a warmth and a spiritual warmth, maybe.
Hmm.
Um, that isn't an emotion, but it like allows us to feel, I suppose, grounded, good, okay. Yeah. And if we can do things from that perspective, yeah, it's pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and have you experienced? Well, of course, you experienced the self being aligned with yourself. When you are aligned with yourself, what's the feeling? How it is? How it would be? You know, what is the
Mm.
result of that?
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. I'm trying to think. But like you say, that it comes, we go on this journey, don't we? It can come and go. I've definitely been times when it's been like most, I suppose, vivid. Um, on a broader scale, I think it's your whole body feels at ease, which now I would understand through the concept of chakras and just everything being okay. We're not holding back, maybe in any way. We're being true to ourselves. But something that definitely stands out for me is in the chest. Like, I think you can really feel when, I suppose, when you love what you're doing, that seems to me to stand out. And I really feel like I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing. And then I think physically you can see it in people. Yeah, maybe feeling happy. I see myself, like my whole posture changes and I light up. Um, yeah, and I might in 10 years' time I might say, no, I was wrong. This over here is pure alignment. But yeah, at the moment, this is what I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what uh, wise. That's how a wise person would be, isn't it? He contradicts himself, then only he'll grow.
Not afraid to say, oh no, I was a bit wrong there. Yeah.
Yeah, what were we thought, we've been thinking that it is right, maybe 3 or 4 years before.
Mm,
It's maybe not right now.
yeah,
At least
definitely.
at least in my case.
Mm, yeah, you can see that in
Mm.
so many ways in different
Yeah,
situations.
exactly. And
Mm.
and tell me a bit more about this chakra meditation, Alex. I
Yeah.
yeah, I never did that.
So yeah, the chakras. So I get transported back to when I first learned about it. I was so excited. It was such a simple model to understand things through. Um, so sorry, actually, what was your question there? Just tell you more about
Chakra, yeah,
it.
chakra
Yeah.
meditation.
So I suppose the first time I did a chakra meditation technically was yoga. So my yoga teacher told me about it, and there's particular yoga poses you can do that theoretically open certain chakras. Um, But for me, coming from that psychological perspective, for me, it was just such an amazing tool because life is so complex. And, a lot of us know that in certain situations, we're going to experience certain feelings and physical sensations in our bodies, and it can all be quite confusing. But when I was introduced to the chakra system, it aligns all those things. So, your root chakra being at the base and your solar plexus being, in your stomach, just below your ribs. And so if you take that one for example, solar plexus, when somebody has real willpower and they're driving to succeed in something, they can have a real powerful sensation there. And if somebody is lacking willpower, they can feel maybe nothing there or a different, more difficult sensation there. And so all the different chakras consistently seems to resonate with things we talk about psychologically. And so you can use it as a guide, like, oh, I'm feeling this here. Is this a clue? Can the chakra system give me a clue as to what this means? Well, yeah, I think it can. It seems to be able to. So I meditated on the chakras with the guided meditations, and that kind of taught me all of that because each of the meditations focuses on those different aspects. And then it resonates. Like you meditate on a particular chakra and thoughts come to your mind that don't just always come to your mind, maybe memories or dreams, ideas. And I just think it helps us align with ourselves, yeah, and get clear on what's blocking us, what we need to work on, what we might like to work on.
Hmm.
Mm.
That's really cool. And yeah, understanding of chakra, I think we can um, do this self corrections or self
Mm.
evaluations, I would say, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a shortcut, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
from the wisdom that's already been found by others.
Mm. That's interesting. And yeah, I've been reading a book where I came to understand that we have seven bodies.
Mm.
And as to not to confuse with our chakra and with the physical
Yeah,
body, people might get confused, isn't it? Like, man, the chakra, I cut my body and see that's no chakra. What chakra I was speaking about?
yeah.
But it apparently in our seven bodies we have our chakra in our subtle bodies. So except this physical body, all the other body in all the other bodies, this chakra is visible,
Mm.
which is after this physical body, you got this astral body, and then you got your mental body, then you got your causal, then you got your supracausal, and then you have your nirvanic body,
Mm.
then at the end you have wisdom body, something. And and at the end, at the end, this body, which is wisdom body or blissful body, the body being blissful, is
Mm.
called as blissful body, and it seems like its state is itself is being blissed out always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what I got related with whenever you said be with yourself. And when we say
Mm.
being with yourself, it's not like disconnecting with this physical world, not like disconnect with your friends and going and locking up and
Mm.
sitting in your room. And it's not like being becoming introvert. Rather, it is becoming everything.
Mm.
isn't it? And this blissful body is everywhere.
Yeah.
This concept, which I understood recently, when you make a dough for making a bread, you prepare this big dough, and then let's say you take small part of out of this dough, and now this small part exists there as a different identity. Let's say
Mm,
small dough,
yeah.
whereas it has the same composition as this big dough,
Mm,
same salt, same water, same everything. We being human beings, apparently we are the small doughs came from this big dough.
it's a good analogy, yeah. Metaphor. Yeah. And they could be made into different types of bread, but they're always ultimately the same bit of dough.
Don't say this to a French person. He wants only baguette.
I think I'd like to be a plaited bread. Yeah, that's it. And I've heard a similar idea of like the sea and the waves. So when the sea is
Um,
calm, it can all be seen maybe as one, unless there's some sea has washed into some dip in the
mm,
land and it's separate. But when the sea is, unsettled and there's all these waves, we can say, oh, there is a wave, but it's still part of the sea. But somehow it's now defined as a wave. And we're a bit like that. Yeah. One and
exactly,
the same, but different. Mm.
exactly. And you know what? This wave or this dough, which got identified as a separate entity, let's say now it identified, oh, I'm a dough as well. And when it, let's say, imagine this, okay, this person who put this dough apart, and if he puts it back towards the big dough, where this identity went now, it merged with this
Mm. I
big self.
imagine this nice positive feeling of, ah, I'm one of you kind of thing. We're all one connectedness.
Exactly. And now
Yeah.
you become identityless. You
Mm.
became one with everything. And for example, being you, being Alex, you've been helping everyone, thinking that you were helping others, but no, you were helping another dough ball.
Yeah. It's all just coming back around. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? What leads us all to, and then what is that guiding force? Because yeah, we have that when we go within, we have this inspiration, but all of us arguably are inspired to do different things, maybe with the same end result, but different in the physical world. Yeah. And what's inspiring that though? The ultimate question. Yeah. I imagine like what you were saying about what was it, the bliss body or the bliss state. It's almost a bit like, yeah, it's not being separate from others, is it? I think it's a bit like, like even when you're around people, you can learn a skill. Like maybe you want to learn even something silly like learning how to click something. People can do like weird little clicks that are tricky to learn how to do, or maybe even learning a bike, how to ride a bike. It's about a knack, isn't it? And maybe we go and be on our own to practice being in that bliss state, but it's just so you can get the knack. And then once you've got the knack, you can do it without thinking. You easily can click back in, but it doesn't affect actually being in the room. It just adds, it's just a skill.
Mm,
Correct me if I'm
okay.
wrong, but yeah, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That's the knack. We need to understand how to get that blissfulness. That is us.
And we
And
lost
why
it.
why are you not blissed out?
Yeah. And then like sometimes people who are blissed out get laughed at. And they're just laughing because they're like, you are me. No worries. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bliss state. Yeah, it can always be there. And I think that aids so much of like it just feeds into it more and more, doesn't it? Because if you're in that bliss state and you deal with somebody and it's a difficult situation, if you're in that state, you can approach it in so much more of a constructive way, in a heartfelt way, in a loving way, even if there's not love being expressed visibly in that moment
Yeah.
elsewhere.
Yeah. True. So true.
Yeah.
And you know what? Recently I came across certain discomfort in my body. I couldn't literally eat even little bit of spice in food, like
Oh.
zero.
Mm.
Even if I eat little bit of pepper or little bit of chili, it's like going to burn me out.
Mm.
And you know what? This spiritual tablet came and helped me.
Yeah.
Why you feel, agitated when you eat this chili or whatever is because you are full of that. You no more require
Mm.
that. Your body, your mind, your seven bodies, it doesn't require that, which means chili here, it represents anger component.
No.
Because
Okay.
when you become angry, you become hot, you become,
Mm.
uh, this chili actually it represents this, isn't it? Like,
Mm.
um,
Yeah,
and
hot-headed or
exactly.
heated.
No,
Hmm.
you can't be sweet. When you are angry, you can't, oh, such a sweet person. We can't.
You can feel the anger and be sweet, but you can't express the anger and be sweet.
Exactly. You become
Not
red.
in an aggressive way. Yeah.
Exactly. You become red, you become hot,
Yeah.
sweat. Everything is associated with this chili. And when it happened to me for my physical body, and apparently this lack of wisdom, which made me to experience that.
Mm.
After understanding this wisdom, I started working on this anger part in me and
Mm.
started accepting things. Why I have to become angry, isn't it? If everything is
Ah.
happening in a meticulous way, if everything happens for a reason, why I should have to be angry? There's no
Mm.
reason.
Yeah. And
And
I'd be,
once I,
yeah,
mm, sorry, yeah, continue.
gonna say I'd be really curious because um, I wonder what you think. I'm theorizing over here that maybe, possibly, it's not even that you were being any more angry than you've been before, so much as your body was like, now is the time to deal with this anger. Is that right? Or did you feel like your anger increased and then it happened?
Well, so these these symptoms that our body gives only through some suffering we
Mm.
understand stuff. Let's say we got plenty of time in front of us,
Mm.
we will never become more enthusiastic to do things because
Yeah.
it's okay, let me see, let me do that tomorrow, let me do this afterwards, day
Bask
after.
in the sun today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
procrastinating. Whereas when we have certain limitations, when we have certain deadlines,
Mm.
then somehow we are not supposed to be like that, to be honest. So, this is what we need to learn. This is what we need to understand. So before this nature itself is going to give some extra, push. If we are good of becoming just by listening or just by observing, if we become the better version of us, then you don't have any suffering, then you don't have any pain. You can live your life smoothly. Whereas if you be a bit, how to say, lethargic and bit lazy, then you need this time to time push, and then you evolve. You learn things.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. It's like kind of friendly,
No.
friendly. Yeah. And so what I did after understanding this, I started working on myself. Um, I started accepting the things, and even if I feel these anger, instead of expressing that, I express to this universe. You know, I release that energy by just sitting and having that energy, that anger energy. I release that, telling that let this energy help everyone in some beautiful way, in some not this anger way or happy way. I just kept let this to the universe, to this nature, and slowly and steadily, you know what? After 4 months, now I eat everything, and I'm eating the spiciest thing.
Yeah. And
While
did you?
understanding, while understanding the wisdom itself, I could observe these things are going away from my body.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel? Oh, so many questions coming at once again. I was going to say, do you feel like you've learned the lessons? But I guess the tablet you mentioned aided in that, or is the tablet just a? I suppose we should maybe your viewers know, but like the tablet is like a tablet, isn't it? Tablet.
Spi- Spiritual tablet. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like a. Is it? Did you say it's like a book or it's like wisdom portrayed somehow?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Um,
it's a wisdom for how to say. So anger is a quality which your soul doesn't require. So
mm,
in India,
you should expound.
exactly in India, we not only in India, I think even in England, in Western world, there's six things, six passions. They say jealousy,
Mm,
anger, envy, desire, then greediness, and then you have the lust or whatever. So
yeah.
if all these six qualities are the negative qualities for your soul, soul doesn't require the soul is equal to love. But
Mm,
all these qualities are opposite to love.
mm,
And if we have little bit of that, not little bit, maybe little bit might be there being a human being. But
yeah.
if we have something big amount, you have to reduce it. You have to become the better version of yourself. We become the love embodiment of love.
Mm,
And since I was not that loving, it happened to me. And once I understood that, I started working on the six passions.
mm,
And
mm,
now I eat everything that was spicy, everything, whatever. And my body gives me no problem.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. I suppose that can be said for things in the past, there's been times when I've had like say eczema or something. And when I've analyzed it, it's much easier now I'm older. But even when I was younger, if I look back, it was always at times of stress. And I guess it was
Mm.
saying, learn how to get through this stress. It's okay. But the energy that I wasn't allowing to flow through, I guess, had to come through in other ways. Yeah.
Mm.
I look at
Mm.
it from a non-medical model. Yeah. Yeah. And it's actually just little cues. Mm, yeah.
Mhm.
I do sometimes wonder with the meditation. I don't know if this is just absolutely random, but obviously, when we meditate and we release and we just go back to the core, there's a lot of peace there. And then when we really engage in the outer world again, all these emotions can come up. And sometimes I wonder if we're thinking spiritually or metaphysically, maybe the emotions allow us to stay connected with our core. It's like a almost a call because we can really delve deep into the outside of ourselves, can't we? But we always need to be able to know the way back. And I think our emotions seem to tell us when we're going off track from our core. Yeah, so that had crossed my mind at times. If we're going from that angle of, I suppose, yeah, when you talk about the neuron and what's at the base, maybe emotions connect that all together from the base all the way up to the going outside of ourselves. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. The emotions. Um, Somehow, you know, like let's say, for example, uh, you feel like doing something, and then all of a sudden you had this intuitive feeling or this emotion which came up, and it said, "No, you don't do this now."
Mm,
And all these feelings that we are getting are from our soul consciousness. It I would say it knows everything. It knows the past, it knows the present, it knows the future. And if at all, if we take some track which are not meant to be taken, then these are all like kind of the alert.
Mm, yeah,
Um,
yeah. And that's fascinating in itself, I think, because again, we're raised to think this is our brain. And what is our brain? It's like a collection of neurons. But then when we learn about the body, neurons are everywhere. Like our muscles move because there's neurons that fire and they remember. And so when we have that gut feeling, that can literally be from our gut because there's neurons that hold memory in our gut. And all those neurons have different historical reference points and they can say like, Mayday, we've been here before, don't do that. Or they all kind of communicate and give us that really deep wisdom. And then going back to the energy, like neurons are just storing information as energy as far as we can tell. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Fascinating, Alex. And you know what? Not only thinking of neurons is moving me, but even thinking of the small things. We think that
Mm,
it is small. See, for example, the hair,
mm,
how it grows, what it is made up of. And if I pluck
yeah.
my hair or if I cut my hair, it's not hurting me. Whereas if I cut my finger or whatever, it
Mm.
hurts me. And
Who
everything
decided
is
this?
who decided is how things are happening. And we think
Yeah.
only certain things are miracle. Only certain things are magical.
It's all a miracle, isn't it? Like it's absolutely crazy.
Life is equal to miracle.
And when we start to get appreciative of that, oh, every day is a blessing. Yeah.
Exactly. See, for example, if you want to develop a device which just it has an action of moving like this and this, you would need to probably have a compressor air which sends some air into it, pushing the motion of the liver. This liver is going to go out
Mm,
and come back. So huge lot of mechanisms are happening behind, but then the end result is just this movement to happen. All these things are happening. Whereas the way we speak
everywhere. Mm,
and the eyes see the eyelash which
all happening at
is up
once.
there. Exactly. Oh my god.
Feeling so grateful right now. I
Yeah.
don't know which organ, I wish I could remember which organ it was. I was researching the other day and somehow went down a rabbit hole about a particular organ. And when I was reading about all the functions, I was like,
Mm.
how is all that going on inside just that one organ? Like the wisdom and the knowledge of how, I mean, some people say it's just chance, don't they? We're just a by chance miracle. I don't know, is it? Is there
Exactly.
wisdom? There could be. Yeah.
That's my. Whenever someone says to me like that, you know what? What's the feeling I will have is it's it's also not logically right
Mm,
because what made you to think that we came to this position of being human beings, having five senses and plus sixth sense of um
mm,
interpreting the things than the animals do. Um, what is the privilege that we have compared by seeing visibly? It is, of course, even though we understand that we all are equal, plants, animals, birds, understand. But when it comes to the reality, physically, when we see things,
mm,
of course, we are having a life bit better than them. An animal which is in a farm or you know, or a plant or a bird which does
mm,
certain things unconsciously. Well, of course, being human beings, I can't say that we are tremendously conscious, even though we are a bit unconscious, but at the end of the day, comparatively at least. And what made us to come to this point? It's
mm,
not, wait, I was not a plant. Why I was not an animal?
mm.
Why I didn't have why I was not a snail having only two senses of only touching and tasting.
Mm. Mm.
If I have these many senses, well, it's an evolution. It's an evolution. I came to this point. It's not like a lucky factor. It's not like all of a sudden it happened that I'm in this body. But
Mm.
I was also a mineral, was then became a plant. Like one by one, step by step. You
Mm.
can't go to PhD without learning ABCD.
Yeah. My mind keeps saying now for some reason that it could also, who knows, be like a devolution. Is that even a word? Um, because there's theories, aren't there? I don't know if you'll know about the, I think you might do. There's a theory that we cycle through where things are very blissful all the way down to the opposite, and that it happens over thousands of years. So arguably, sometimes we would evolve and sometimes the opposite would happen. So it depends, doesn't it? Where were we before now? That's the real question. Are we upgrading or downgrading? How do we know which is which when we're only one of them?
Yeah. Well, in my perspective, being everything one at the same, the present tree that we are looking through our window with the tree that I am looking, it is my
Mm,
past. It is my past. It is me,
feels like your path. Some
but it
people
is my
wish to
past.
be a tree, don't they? Some people aspire. They're like, please. I saw some funny video on social media the other day of this woman saying, please, please, in my next life, I am ready to be a tree. I just need 100 years, sit still and just enjoy the weather, the breeze through my leaves. I don't
That's,
know. I don't know which would be the upgrade.
exactly, exactly. To be
Less
honest, yeah,
feelings, less sensations, maybe.
exactly. Maybe factor is always there. We are not sure of anything, and totally, I agree with your point of view. Um, you know, I speak as if I understood, whereas it's not. Maybe it's not. We go back, as you said.
It might be random as
Exactly.
well.
Yeah, round and round.
I'm not sure which scientists it was. I want to say hmm, maybe quantum physicists. And they were
Mhm.
explaining how if you put an apple in a box, it will degrade and all of that. But if it's a box that nothing can come in out of, and the apple just goes through a process, that eventually it would break all the way down. I don't know if an apple can just break down without anything else in the box. There must be something in there. But anyway, they were saying it breaks all the way down and eventually it'll cycle through every single possibility of its being, which is inclusive of you and me and everything. And it was saying it would I think they said it would randomly go through every possibility. It would be a cat, it would be a shoe, it would be a coin. I am not clued up fully on how this is the case, but there's people saying, yeah, that we are just everything going through maybe in a random fashion. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Seems
yeah.
beyond me at this bit.
That makes really sense. Yeah, and you know what? When you were saying about this Apple thing, something popped out immediately.
Hmm.
Life is everywhere. As we said, let put an apple in a closed bag or whatever. Let it be like that for some years. You know what will happen? First, this bacteria will grow, then it becomes some bigger amount of that, and then worms will come out of this apple itself. And then through that worm, the worm will then have the flying insect. It will become the flying insect, the same worm. You know
Mm,
that, right? We can see the same in this physical world
that
itself,
whole cycle, yeah.
isn't it? From out of nowhere, from, just from an apple, all these things happened.
Can do. Yeah. Out of nothing come, well, not nothing, is it? I suppose everything that breaks down becomes something again.
Yeah. What is your take on energy can neither be destroyed nor be created?
Yeah. That's thought-provoking, isn't it? I've not personally come across any evidence to suggest that it can be destroyed. Yeah. Oh no, this is taking me down that tangent of like when you start thinking about the universe and the end of it and all that confusion.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely haven't seen any evidence to the contrary. Mm, it's all just
So
cycling
true.
around potentially.
Enlightening conversations.
It just begs the question, doesn't it? Like when since I was a kid, I've always been perplexed. I think, yeah, I think someone in my family was very into space as well. So I had this like introduction at quite a young age. And I was always stuck at the point of where does it end? Oh, there is no end. Okay, where is there no end? And it just gets you to that point where our brain can no longer comprehend. And I don't know if that's because we just can't comprehend or because there is nothing to comprehend. But oh, yeah, it drives me mad. Before being in psychology, I wanted to do astrophysics, and I decided no, I'd go
Mhm.
bonkers. I wouldn't be able to understand.
Oh wow. It's it's really amazing to see that even at the small age you started putting all these questions. Where there's an end.
Hmm. Doesn't end or it does. I still don't know. Neither or.
Yeah. And and yeah. So yeah, all what I could say is, as you said, um, we don't even have time to waste our time in thinking of sadness because we don't even have time to enjoy
Mm,
as much as we can,
yeah.
and rather thinking of how to be happy, how to be enjoy, how to always be in that enjoyment state. We don't have time, isn't it?
Mm.
You think of how our hair is growing, you become blissed out. That's it. We don't even have
Yeah.
we don't even have a single moment to waste to enjoy things. So
Mm,
even by having a
mm,
simple understanding, we can overcome our suffering. We can overcome our mental trauma. Everything.
mm. Yeah. Yeah. Because, yes, I suppose the suffering potentially comes from, and this is a difficult subject, obviously, because a lot of people are very much trapped in situations, not knowing how to get out of them. But yeah, certainly in so many situations, the suffering comes from not being able to follow through on what you just said. Like the suffering tells you this is not where you're happy. I'm just telling you, this isn't. It's almost the absence of, isn't it? And anger can be that something's happened to you that is causing you suffering, and you can stop it. It gives you that fire, motivation to stop it. And it's just when we aren't able to either hear that message or act on it that we end up suffering longer term. So we can use the suffering to get to the joy. Just try not to hang out with the suffering too long.
Mm,
Mm.
wow. Using the suffering to get the joy.
Yeah, it's just a sign,
Mm,
just a signpost on the journey.
wow. Nothing can be more enlightening than what you said now.
Oh. It
Good.
leaves me curious as to whether people, this is a whole different conversation, but yeah, some might say they find joy in those places. But yeah, that would be a whole different conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. I came across this beautiful analogy recently. Um, there's a fish which is swimming happily in a pond, and then there's a one day there's a huge storm kind of thing which made this pond to kind of overflow with more amount of water, and this fish is then kind of washed away from where it used to live, from there to somewhere else. This air is taking this fish somewhere, and this fish is like keep on going, keep on coming back again and again where it used to be, and it's trying to, you know, go opposite to the direction where the
Mm,
air is pushing the fish. And you know what? If at all, if this fish would have went in the flow of the river or the flow,
mm.
it would have ended up in a bigger space than where it was before.
With loads of fish that it resonates with and feels joy with. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when it comes to our life, whenever certain things happen, I personally I witness this. When something happens, we think that it is bad, but later on, 2 years or 3 years, we will say, "Oh my God,
Mm,
I'm very fortunate that that incident happened. If that would have
mm.
not happened, I would have maybe not this much happier now, how I
Yeah.
am now."
Yeah.
So whenever some hard things are happening in our life, I think that is we have to think ourselves as this fish. We should not do like this fish. Rather, we should let the things we came with nothing, we go with nothing. So
Mm,
don't be attached of anything. Go in the flow. Wherever we land, it should be nicer for us. Let's have confidence in this creation.
trust the process. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm, mm. Yeah. I think it was Buddha, right, who said that attachment is the source of all suffering. Yeah. You just got to let it go, take the journey, just enjoy what comes our way. Yeah.
exactly, Alex.
Mm,
It's like being ignorant, as you said. When we meditate, when we understand that we are we are everything, and we are this eternal being which is always blissed out, and we understand this, there won't be any necessity of being attached to anything that that we are not, ownership of
mm.
anything. We are not ownership of anything. That
Yeah.
we think that, oh, I bought this house with my money. Okay, you think that you bought this house, but who gave you this energy to go to office and work? Who, from where? From where the breath that you are, breathing, from where it is coming from? Who is giving you all these things? Who is giving you how this hand is moving? All these things came freely,
Mm,
whereas we are not ready to give things freely.
yeah. And yeah, I think with from a similar perspective, like the almost the more we attach to things, the more complacent we can become. Like if I'm um, attachment and not wanting to let things go is almost not wanting to accept they will eventually go. Whereas if we do that, then we can sometimes be more grateful because anything can happen, can't it? Especially with like the house. You might lose that house, but something more amazing might come. But you might grieve the loss of that house if you're attached, when actually you could be fully enjoying the new reality. Yeah. So just like you were saying, just fully being in the moment.
Being in the moment, exactly.
Fully.
You made to the point.
Yeah.
Being at the moment,
Yeah.
and have to be in the moment, being more mindful, practice
Exactly.
more meditation.
Mindfulness. Not what is it? To live in the past is to live in depression, and to live in the future is to live in anxiety. The present
Mhm.
moment, yeah. Peace, bliss.
Wow,
Fully
peace.
invest. Peace and bliss.
That,
Yeah.
that would be uh, a wonderful conclusion for today, I think. Please, bliss. Peace, bliss.
Bliss. Yeah.
Like how you are.
I feel like this has been a really great refresher of all that knowledge. When you dive into it like this, it's so much easier to step into moment by moment.
Yeah,
Really
I think,
enjoyable. Thank you.
yeah, I'm energetic for next 1 week. Ready to attack this weekend?
Yes. I'm certainly feeling blissed. Yeah. Raring to go.
My heart, my chakra, heart chakra,
Mm,
it is really like filled. It's like filled with this happy energy.
mm, yeah. I definitely have some more of that flow that I mentioned, the energy just freely moving through. The excitement, I suppose it feels a bit like excitement. And I'm so glad we did this because it was a long time coming, wasn't it? For various reasons.
Right?
But it's been a lovely process. Yeah, very nice.
Very glad, Alex. Thanks a lot once again
Me too.
for coming to this platform and sharing your wonderful wisdom. And you went across plenty of concepts, how to be in the present moment, and how to be more mindful, and everything is possible, anything can happen, and just enjoy the moment,
Mm.
and meditation is the key. So thanks a lot for enlightening with your wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you too, because yeah, I've definitely soaked up lots of your wisdom as well. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me.
Pleasure is mine, and hope to meet you soon again and again in this platform, and we need your wisdom.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
See ya.